各位女士、各位先生，欢迎莅临2022金曲国际音乐节商务交流会。Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2022 GMA Networking. 连续3天的金曲国际音乐节，我们总共举办了3场商务交流会，广邀国外买家、音乐节策展人及国内影视游戏产业业者，将产业重量级人士所属业务内容与实务经验分享给与会者，增进商务合作契机，拓展事业版图。There are 3 networking sessions in total throughout the 3-day Golden Melody Festival. We have invited international buyers, music festival coordinators, and local practitioners of game and TV series to share who they are, what they do, and their practical experience. Through discussion, it is hoped that we discover more business opportunities and expand business domain. 现在要进行的主题是影视与音乐。Ladies and gentlemen, we now begin the first session, TV series and music. 现在邀请本场次座谈贵宾。I would like to call upon the following guests to take your seats on the stage for discussion. 主持人 The Host, 76号原子股份有限公司董事总经理杨志光。The Managing Director of Studio 76 Original Production, Mr. Dennis Yang. 语谈人 Panelist, 相信音乐国际股份有限公司媒体与专案统筹蔡心如。The Media and Project Coordinator of Being Music International, Ms. Sherry 蔡。华研国际股份有限公司资深经理李庄荣。The Senior Manager of HIM International Music, Mr. Morris Lee. 现在将舞台转交给主持人。
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dennis Yang. I'm the Managing Director at Studio 76 Original Productions. Studio 76 specializes in the development and investment of original IP content. We have also distributed our works to streaming platforms around the world. Today, I'm very happy to have this opportunity to attend the GMA Festival and moderate this networking session on TV series and music. I think it's a very timely topic. In recent years, we actually heard a song that was composed 37 years ago, and it suddenly went to the top of the Billboard in the US and the UK. And I was listening to a radio show, and the host was very agitated because they said that when that song was topping the Billboard, he wasn't born yet. However, that song was able to really integrate with the stories, and that's where magic happens. Whether it's at the beginning of the beginning of the show, or at the middle of the show, or at the end of the show, it can bring a lot of, or it can tell a lot of stories. So today we're very happy to have this opportunity to invite panelists that have a lot of experience in the industry. They have also plentiful experiences in producing these musics. We have old friends and also new friends today. And there are actually a lot to cover. Our panelists are also very experienced. So I was thinking about how to moderate the session. So I thought that I should split our session in 2. In the first session, we have invited Sherry and also Morris to the stage. Although they're both very young, however, they are already quite experienced in the industry, and they will be sharing with us their expertise. We will first talk about licensors. So these people, they have music, they also can produce, but they're searching for good content so that they can match the artists with the content and introduce the work to the audience. So we will invite Sherry and Morris first, and then we will invite the other four who are licensees because they are the users. They are very well-known producers or directors and also investors, which is very important because they provide the funding. What are they looking for? We want to learn from the user's perspective. So basically, it's a supply and demand session. So first we talk about the supply, and then we will move on to the demand. So we will start from the licensing part, and then we will move on to the users. So ladies first, let's first welcome Sherry Tsai. She's the media and project coordinator at Bein Music International, and she has worked with, for example, Mayday, Rin Liu, Cosmos People, and she has also participated in movies such as Waiting for My Cup of Tea, The Devil Punisher, etc. So let's welcome Sherry. Good morning. My name is Sherry. I'm from Bein Music International. Currently, I am in charge of media and projects, and I'm the coordinator. I'm very happy to attend our session, our networking session this morning. I will share some of my experiences, and let me show you my slides. Let's begin with Bein International. Well, Bein Music is an all-round label, record label, because in addition to agency, we also distribute and produce music. There's also businesses such as organizing concerts, producing concerts, promotions, etc. So we're actually integrating all aspects of operations. So it's more than just artist agency. We also distribute and produce labels and records. We work with many artists, for example, Mayday and Jonathan Lee, Rin Liu, etc. In recent years, we have also signed some new artists. We have always focused on artists. For example, Accused 5, they were awarded the Golden Melody Award. And also, Jia Jia, Cosmos People, Tizzy Back, Mixer, and also so many other artists. These are actually emerging artists that have really performed very well in recent years. They have received a lot of attention. Also, Wei Jiaying, Huang Tingrui, Lin Yi. These are new stars in the music industry, and they would probably receive a lot of recognition in the next few years. I would like to move on to cooperation between content and music. So in addition to finding music in the earlier days, companies would search from their repertoire to see whether or not there are suitable songs or music, or they would see whether or not these works work with a particular piece of music. But now, because there are streaming platforms, there are multi-channels, everything is more diversified. Therefore, there will actually be a more customized approach. So in addition to the main theme and also the other music, we also compose soundtracks and also distribute the original soundtrack. We also take part in promotion and marketing after the works have been distributed. In recent years, some of the larger projects. Well, actually, we were established in 2007, and we have long worked with these content producers. But in recent years, we also worked on projects such as The Devil Punisher and Love is Science, More Than Blue. Run for Dream is a more special project because it is a documentary about a super marathon runner, Chen Yanbo. We invited Luantan Ashang to help us produce the soundtrack for the documentary. They also wrote the main theme. As for the very famous Light the Night series, okay, this is probably one of the largest projects that we've done last year. So all the music in Light the Night were customized. So we will talk about this project later. And talk about how we were able to distribute the soundtrack. Last year, Light the Night was in the #1 spot on Netflix Taiwan and Netflix Hong Kong. There are a lot of discussions about the characters in Light the Night. And since the end of last year till this year, it has always been a very popular topic for discussion among the audience. And all of the songs within the soundtrack actually has an MV, and more than 27 million views were achieved on YouTube. So not only the drama was very well received, the music was also very popular, and there were a lot of discussions. And I would say that when we were discussing the script, we actually participated in the discussion of the script with, for example, the director and the producers, because we want to know the time and space of the drama. We want to discuss what kind of style the music should be. Of course, directors and different people would have their own perspectives, but we hope that we can work with all stakeholders to come up with a more thematic style. It's like a worldview of this particular series. So the details were actually very important. So we took part in the discussion process very early on. We really want to know the style of the entire production because the setting is in the 1980s. So for example, Teresa Deng and also Feng Feifei, these were very popular artists back then. So we want to repackage the content, repackage these old songs that were very, very popular. So we're not just inserting these old songs into this particular drama series. Maybe we can actually make covers and invite new artists or emerging artists to sing these songs, and we can give it new orchestration to these songs. So that is why Jia Jia was invited to reinterpret two very popular songs back in the 1980s. Xing from Mayday also rearranged Teresa Deng's very famous song, The Moon Shows My Heart. And of course, Mayday is a band, and so when it was rearranged, Xing actually inserted new acoustics or new kinds of sounds. So that's why Light the Night actually gave a more creates some sense of suspicion in the beginning. And in the end, Accused 5 sung 好不容易. This was actually a customized new song for Light the Night. We wanted to portray the sense of loneliness in an urban setting. So we discussed with the production team very early on, from the lyrics to the orchestration, because Accused 5 is a band with dual singers, with a male singer and a female singer. So we were discussing whether or not the female singer should lead the song or the male singer should start the song. So there were actually a lot of discussions going on. So the entire soundtrack actually was very, very well aligned with the characters of the drama, with the plot, so that we can create tailor-made songs that really is very well integrated with the plot. We also invited Mixer to customize a song called 请别爱我, which is Don't Love Me. The album was actually going to be completed, and the director has already decided what songs to use, when to use them. But there was something missing. We thought that there was still something missing, because this story is about, the red light district in Taipei in the 1980s. We're depicting the daily lives of these people. But it seems that there was someone missing that can express their emotions. So we eventually invited Rose Mama, the protagonist of the series, to sing the song. So it's a female voice. They want to be loved, and they probably encountered a lot of difficulties and challenges. We want her to sing this voice.
So you can see that when we're working with a television series, it is actually a collaborative effort. How do we create the best result with everybody on board? So when you take a project like Light the Night, you can see that for many labels, their role is not just to have good songs, because each song probably has its own merit, but there is a sense of how the piece fits in the entire puzzle, the overall effect. You may hear the song somewhere isolated from the TV series. The song should still be able to stand on its own. It shouldn't just be a song that people associate with the TV series. So through this collaboration with Light the Night TV series, we felt that we were able to create a win-win situation for our artists as well as for the TV series. I think Sherry just provided with us with a wonderful conclusion. She reminded us that a song still needs to be able to stand on its own, as well as be part of a TV series. Now we are delighted to have our second presenter, Morris. At 11:45, we have the next session, so I'm afraid we'll need to hurry in terms of our presentations. Morris is now the Senior Manager of the Greater China Integrated Marketing Department at HIM International. In his talent agent capacity, he specializes in breaking news responses as well as PR management for artists. Let's welcome Morris. Hello, everybody. I am Morris Lee from HIM. I'm very, very happy to be here today to talk about the relationship between music and TV series. I belong to the Integrated Marketing Department at HIM International Music. So we not only represent artists, we also do a lot of collaboration with other cultural creative talents. So in addition to music, we also have product placement deals for TV series with companies such as Damao Entertainment. I would like to share a few case studies with you. If we talk about collaboration with TV series, I think many years ago we produced a song for a period piece that is still very popular today. However, in the last decade, we have expanded, and you can see here on the screen some of the songs people associate with HIM. One of the songs that we are very well known for is the theme song for the movie Our Times, called A Little Happiness. This song was nominated for the Golden Horse Awards. It is one of the songs that is often cited as a success story in terms of collaboration. So music can actually bring a lot of benefits to television series as well as films. If we look at a film like The Titanic, before you even know what the storyline is about, very often the theme song is already ringing in your head. So this is something that music can bring to a film. My work is one of integration, and integration is very, very vast. So I'd like to explain a little bit about what we are trying to do. What we have done includes working with Vogue magazine on a fashion night out project. We had a merchandise that was a T-shirt that was then modeled by our artist. It was a very successful cross-collaboration. And we've also worked with baseball teams. For example, last year we worked with the Uni Lions in starting a art festival. So our two artists, Power Station and Missy Ke, went to one of the baseball games and performed there. And also you will be able to see some of the merchandise that we came up with. We used the mascot of the Uni Lions, and our artists modeled these merchandise. We've also worked with different TV stations. For example, Yoga Lin, he was working alongside Discovery Channel on a show about exploration of the moon. And we've also had a collaboration where our artists participated in workshops. So if we're looking at collaboration, we mustn't overlook the area of how we can also bring product placement into music projects. So one project I was involved in was Workers. And I remember during the pitching period, I had to think of ways in which we could bring products into this TV show, and it is extremely challenging. So the two shows that I worked on in this area is the Wave Makers and Workers. Both of these shows are about artisans, and when we pitched this project, the client had great confidence in HIM, so they wanted to talk about how in these shows they could bring their products into the show. And we went through the client list, and you can see finally these are the sponsors we came up with. One of the challenges in product placement deals is sometimes clients don't want to pay. They just want to support by giving you products. But we know that very often cash is king. We need to pay the bills. So I had to tell our sponsors that for projects of this kind, we know that there's a lot of creativity involved, a lot of special effects, and all of that takes money. So this is what we had to overcome. And in Taiwan, if we look at our television production tradition, very often the clients like to just provide a lot of products, and that actually doesn't create or generate a lot of benefit for all involved, because we can see that for a lot of clients, they don't just want the camera just to scan that their products were in the picture. So we had to think of ways in which we had a pricing strategy where the more you paid, the more your product would be highlighted and emphasized. So I think for directors and producers, they often have to make compromises. They have their creativity. They don't want their storyline to be impacted. Nobody wants a very strange product placement appearance. However, due to the sponsorship, it's important to do this artfully. Today, if the actor starts drinking a cup of coffee, we have to see how we can make that product placement meaningful for the client, but unobstructive for the director. This is a little different from how things were done in the past. I had to do a lot of communication on the client side, and sometimes the screenwriter and the director will tell me, this product is so tiny, it's very hard for us to actually capture it on film. So what can we do? I thought of a way to get around it. I thought maybe in the behind the scenes footage, we could give that product a little more exposure. For a successful TV series, behind the scenes is very, very necessary and becoming more and more popular. So now sponsors are willing to accept that as an alternative, that they will get more exposure perhaps in the behind the scenes section. Of course, we also will provide other types of bonus. We had, I remember one scene where we had somebody leafing through a magazine. So we promised the sponsor that in the leafing of the magazine that there would be a page with their product in as well. So this all sounds kind of very fragmented. But in Taiwan, we are not that mature when it comes to product placement. So we actually have to think of many ways in which we can improve project collaborations of this kind. And my department at HIM really welcomes more collaboration of this kind, so be sure to approach me if you're interested. Thank you, Morris. I think very often integration is so important, because if there isn't integration, you won't be able to have to achieve true harmony, I think, in a collaboration. So here from the licensor, we have heard two perspectives, and now we're going to go to the licensees. We thank Sherry and Morris, and now we're going to invite our other four speakers up onto the stage. Mindy, let's have Mindy up. Mindy, you can sit here. And we also have Stanley. Stanley, can you come up? And also Ray, Director Ray Jiang. And last but not least, we also want to welcome Nick Tai. I will introduce them one by one. They're all true pros. Actually, aside from me, we have billions of dollars now on stage. I think we can start again with the lady. Make sure that you are aware of time because we are really running out of time. So let's start with Mindy. I know that Mindy is an investment fund manager at Meetup International. You can see big dollar signs when you look at Mindy. She has been looking for good investment categories. And in the past, the incantation was a very important success story. And then More Than Blue, the series. So you can see that for Meetup International, Mindy's company, they have been very successful in finding projects to invest in. So now, without further ado, let's welcome Mindy. Hello. My name is Mindy. I represent Meetup International. In 2019, we established our venture capital fund. My main role is to find good projects that we can invest in. We have been around for 2.5 years, and we have invested in 8 projects. The one that is more well-known is the TV series More Than Blue. Last year, it premiered on Netflix. And then another show is also a TV show, Women in Taipei. It is going to be debuting in Netflix and Disney Plus at the latter part of this year. In addition, there are 2 more TV series. One is with a publishing house. It is a new collaboration between music and drama. And hopefully it will come to fruition. And another project is called 聪明症. This is an adaptation of a Japanese story. And the story is a very ingenious one. Hopefully we are able to finish shooting this year and screen it next year. We are also investing in 3 films. One is The Incantation, directed by Ko Mong-rong. So currently, Meetup is also interested in investing in film. Another film project is with the famous director Hou Shaoxian. It is a romantic drama, and it will be debuting next year. The third film is a horror film. We know that horror films are really popular this year, so it will debut the latter half of 2022. We are also investing in director Ko Mong-rong's studio. So these are the main projects that we are investing in currently. So More Than Blue, the TV series, Women in Taipei, and Incantation are already about to be screened.
I've been working in the entertainment industry all along. In the beginning, I took part in writing scripts. I've also took part in the production of TV dramas such as New Media Garden and Growing Pain. But then I moved on to the collaboration between drama and also music, or between TV series and music. These are some of my past projects. In 2015, Going Home was a project that I took part in, and the title song is 回不去的时光, and the ending credit is 只有月亮全看见. other singers, including Huang Fei, Huang Yiling, and Guo Jing, also made covers of very old songs. As for the Meteor Garden, in the title song, we invited the new F4 to sing the title song for you. Asking actors to sing songs has always been a very interesting thing. Maybe they don't have the best voice. They don't necessarily have the techniques to sing a song very well. But I think this is a very interesting process, and they do represent the TV series very well. Wei Qiqi, a new emerging artist, sung the ending credit. So in addition to finding the original artists to sing some of the songs, but we've also invited new artists to sing these old songs, so they made covers. This is a new TV series called 少年派, or Teenager, and the title song and the ending credits were sung by new artists as well. We invited local artists to sing the songs. As for the interludes, we bought songs and worked with some very famous artists, such as Mayday. We bought these songs so that they can be used in our TV series. So what I'm trying to say here is that we currently invest in movies and TV series mainly. So if you're a musician or you're a producer, you have very interesting projects, please feel free to contact me. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mindy. So when we end, make sure that you approach Mindy and get her business card. Let's now move on to Stanley. Stanley Xu. Let me show you something first. Recently, he actually produced a new series called The Amazing Grace of Sigma, and it will be premiered on MOD, Zhonghua MOD, in late July. It's a very, very interesting series, so make sure that you tune in. Stanley has a lot of experiences in producing TV series and also movies, so I'm very happy to have Stanley here to talk about the integration of TV series and music. Thank you, Dennis, for pitching for me. I'm Stanley Shi from Rosebud Production. I'm an executive producer and also a producer. So I not only have to find funding, I'm also someone who spends a lot of money. So I would like to share my views about integrating TV series and music by using the example of The Amazing Grace of Sigma. I agree very much with what Mindy just said. Of course, TV series sometimes would work with, for example, musicians, and we would use pop music. For example, The Amazing Grace of Sigma works with Sony Music this time, and 6 songs were custom-made. But today, I would like to go deeper and talk about the soundtrack. How can we incorporate soundtrack with the visual content? We have another director here. We have 2 directors. One of them is a script writer, Ms. Wu Luoying, and the other is Ray Zhang, who's on stage here. The reason that I want to first talk about the main crew is because when we want to integrate music and visuals, I think communication is very important. There's a lot of coordination that is necessary. So as a producer, I think it's very important for us to talk with the creators, not only the director, the script writers, but also the record labels. We have to discuss with them how they can work together. I think this is a very important first step. This is a clip from The Amazing Grace of Sigma. That was also the title song. Aaron Yan from Sony Music sung the title song, and we were very happy to have them. I would like to talk about the main crew of the music main crew. Actually, before we began, we invited Sandy Chan to be the music supervisor. When she received the script and heard our discussions, she took part in our meetings, and I remember that it was probably one day before the Lunar New Year. We were still in a meeting, and we were discussing what would be the direction of the music. The story probably has a lot to do with a cult religion. So how can we make this very obvious? You definitely need music that has a character to lead the audience's emotions. So if we're going to focus on a religious cult, in addition to bringing that mysterious feeling, what can we also do? So Sandy decided to experiment with urban and EDM. So she sought Disparity, this musician, to compose the music. Disparity wrote the soundtrack for us, and he used EDM, which is something that he's very good at. So from the drums in the beginning to the ending, you would very clearly feel that the music basically moved from the background to the foreground. So this created that mysterious effect. We were quite satisfied with the effect. Disparity is an emerging artist, and the music has been recognized by the Golden Melody Award. In the Golden Melody Award 2 years ago, he worked with Abao. And that was actually an EDM album called Kinakayan. And in addition to that clip that I showed you, I would like to show you the synopsis of the story.
在西格玛的世界里，每个人都会有属于自己的西格玛档案，里面会有你的前世今生，你在这个世界的任务和意义。当然，也包括最后的幸福归属。
我们那边的人哦，都有好多的人生的故事。
想要跟各位最后
In conclusion, I would like to share something. When we are looking at TV series as well as music production, we know now that it is moving at an amazing pace. And there are so many different streaming platforms, and there is a diverse array of how we can collaborate. So in this project, we have tried to look at different genres of music. As I mentioned in the past, music was at the background, but we're hoping in this television series to bring it to the foreground. So we really hope that our friends in the music industry can join us and explore new possibilities. I'm Stanley, and I really am willing to entertain all kinds of possibilities. Thank you so much, Stanley, for showing this amazing project, the amazing grace of Sigma. We can't wait to see it. Now we're going to welcome Director Ray Jiang. He is a very prolific director in Taiwan, and he has experimented with many different genres. Many people know him by the Gatao series. This is a huge hit at the box office. Director Jiang also won a Golden Bell Award for Best Director in a television series. And actually, we've worked together on a project, Meow Meow Boss. So I can tell you that Director Chiang is really a veteran who knows a lot about the industry. He will be sharing with us how he brings music into his film and television projects. Let's welcome him. Hello, everybody. My producer is right next to me, so I can actually just use his presentation. I want to thank the Golden Melody Award for giving me this opportunity to present. Very often when we're about to start shooting, we need to take words and turn it into visuals and images. That's the big challenge. After so many years of working in the industry, I've come to the conclusion that music is actually a great asset. I have a good friend who has also worked on many collaborative projects, and he shared with me one of his experiences where he listened to the same song over and over again when he was on a project. So he listened to it while he went to the hotel, and then on location, and then in the car, and even when he's in his own van, he's still listening to the same song. He got really tired of the song, and when he finally got to the location, he wanted to ask the director what was the purpose of listening to the song back and forth and listening to it over and over again. He felt actually quite nauseous and agitated. But actually, in the end, this was the director's motive, that he wanted to create the sense of revulsion and agitation. So music has this ability to bring up emotions. Sometimes we listen to a song before we even have a story. I think if you are going to show sadness, there are many ways to show it. You can cry, you can be silent, or you can use a long shot to show one person sitting by the harbor in solitude. However, with the addition of music, you can really bring this emotion to life. I've directed big gangster films, Gatao, the whole series, and Stanley and I have also made more serious indie house films, and I've also tackled projects that are more family melodramas. And my experience with music is music together with drama can bring about, can be very trendy. So it can lead in terms of what's going to be popular. So music, I'm sure you know the newest Top Gun, how the music has taken everyone by storm. When I was young, I saw Top Gun 1. I can't really even remember the first story, but Danger Zone is a song that continues to be in my mind. And when I watched Top Gun 2, Danger Zone was still the song that was in my head. And you can see that today, if you look at a show such as Light the Night, you will also see songs from the 80s as well as songs that are more contemporary. So music helps us conceptualize the story, brings more emotion to the forefront, and to take lines that are just words and elevate it to a vibe, to an atmosphere. So very often I have a song in mind before I actually start shooting the scene. And I want all of my crew to know about the song while they're shooting. We want to extract what the essence of the song and transfer it into the shot or the scene. It's an incredible process. So I really hope that I have this chance to talk more to all of you through this time at GMA. Now I want to turn the floor over to Nick. I think many of you know Nick because of Light the Night, because it's so popular. It has become the talk of the town and also created many new possibilities in music. People are also listening to old songs again. Nick is now a division controller of the entertainment business department at TVBS Media. So let's welcome Nick. Thank you. There's so many of my comrades here today. Together, we've just collaborated on Light the Night. Many people like the TV series, and we heard from Sherry earlier that music actually came into the whole process quite early on. We were thinking of a song that could be so popular that people will see the song and think of the show. So that was the original intent. When we look at TV series and music, we know for sure that music will help with the box office. It will also elevate the value of the TV series. So at TVBS, I've been trying to do one specific thing, which is to try and do something that's not just drama. What we're hoping to do is take variety shows, because recently I've been involved in a variety show called Let's Open. And right from the opening scene, you will hear the theme song. And the theme song has become very popular. Another show that I'm involved in is called Living. This is a song, this is a project that I'm collaborating with Ruby Lin, the producer for Light the Night. And many people have seen the popular TV show that is about a Taiwanese woman who has no prospects and how she lives her very lackluster life, while Living is the male version of somebody who's down and out and how they live their lackluster life. But we know that life is short. Everybody only has one life to live. So this is going to be a big project that TVBS is embarking on. The director for this show is Xu Zhaonian, and he's worked with us on other projects. He's won the Golden Bell Award before. So we're sure that this is going to be a very successful project. Another project that we're involved in is called At the Moment. At the Moment has a very interesting premise. 2-3 years ago, I watched an Amazon TV series called Modern Love. And in Modern Love, we see many, many urban love stories. So I felt that we could do the same for Taipei, have love stories from Taipei. And that's how the idea of At the Moment came about. And we wanted to use the pandemic as a backdrop. And we have 10 episodes, and each episode is independent. And you will see aliens coming to Taipei during the pandemic. There are lots of interesting urban love stories, but ultimately it will touch your heart. So in the latter part of 2022, we will be investing heavily in this TV series at the moment. And when it comes to at the moment, we will not be working with one record label company because we have 10 episodes. So we are going to have 10 theme songs. And what we are planning to do is work with many, many new talents. We hope through at the moment, we will be able to help new artists who are looking to debut. So we believe that this is going to be as popular as Light the Night. Many people are wondering what we are going to do after Light the Night. Are we going to have Light the Night 2? No, actually what we're going to do is do something very different. It is going to be a reality show. It is called Camping. And the reality show is going to be made up of the actors and actresses from Light the Night. So those ladies that you saw in the red light district, such as Ruby Lin, they are going to now take off all that makeup and go camping. It is going to be a reality show that's going to show you another side to the stars. We know that reality show has become very popular in the last 2 years. I mentioned the show that I'm currently involved in that is very, very popular. And I think reality shows are going to be the wave of the future. So camping is another project that we're very, very excited about. Thank you. These are the 3 projects that we're involved in right now.
Thank you, Nick. So I'm going to ask you whether or not, you'll be cooperating with musicians. Well, yes, at least for at the moment, because I hope that I can work with different record labels. Of course, the copyright would be more complicated, but because at the moment it's a large-scale project, I hope that it can actually help, musicians. We can work with other companies. I'm not going to ask you to donate, but I think through collaboration, we will be able to assist emerging artists. Thank you. Thank you very much. I would like to thank our 4 panelists, actually 6 panelists, who shared with us their projects and how they look at music and how TV series can actually work with musicians. And that is why I said that we began with licensors and then licensees, because this is a supply and demand relationship, and we can figure out whether or not they can work together. Working together, of course, is the most difficult part. I think we have time for Q&A, so I would like to open the floor for you to ask questions. If you have any questions, please feel free to raise your hand, wait for the microphone, and ask our panelists if you want to know more about their work and how to facilitate the cooperation between musicians and also the production team. Feel free to ask. You can also, of course, share some of your projects and seek advice. So are there any questions for our panelists? I've already asked the first question to Nick, and he did say that at the moment would be an opportunity where musicians can work with a TV series production team.
Yes.
这其实是
Anybody can answer this question, but I would like to know. Usually you're focusing on pop music, but I would like to know, in addition to pop music, what kind of music, what genre of music do you also look for? So in addition to pop music, are there other kinds or other genres of music that can be used in TV series or drama series? Can anybody answer this question? Let's start with Stanley, because I think in The Amazing Race of Sigma, music is at the center. You talked about EDM, right? Yes, I just mentioned that for The Amazing Grace of Sigma, we talked about techno music and also dance music and also pop music. There's actually also a lot of classical music as well. And in the soundtrack, we would actually use some ballads from classical music. So what I'm trying to say is that The Amazing Grace of Sigma is unique in the sense that there are so many possibilities. In addition to urban, techno music, there are actually a lot of collaboration. So it's actually a mixture. I think this is like a chemical reaction. So I think any kind of music, any genre of music can be used. It can be very commercial pop music. It can be experimental music. It can be more urban or hipster. I think there's all kinds of possibilities. Would Ray like to comment? Would Ray like to add in drama series? What kind of music, in addition to pop music, for example, for the main title and the ending credit? This is actually a very good question. So I was really trying to think of a good answer, how to answer your question, just like what Stanley said, because he, as a producer, and as a supervisor, they need to search for money. And as a director, I spend money. So I was thinking, in addition to the main title, maybe main title would anchor the entire mood of the production or the TV series. But I think for a lot of interludes, a lot of soundtrack, they actually do not necessarily anchor the music. If you think of Sparta, you will see that in a lot of transitions, it uses a lot of techno music. It's very percussive. So I think the market actually has a very wide taste. It really depends on what you're good at. For example, if there's an image that that wants to portray melancholy, maybe there would be a very melodic string ensemble. But maybe you're very good at techno music and you can come up with techno music, but actually expresses that kind of sorrow. So I don't think we should be limited by music genres. I think music is a catalyzer of the image. So if the image has an intention, has a purpose, the music, once it is played, can actually very well express that emotion. My company is also producing a lot of shows, so we often look for collaborators, and we do know that when the music is played, it can actually multiply the effect of the image, and I think that's what's important. Are there other questions? Please wait for the microphone. Usually, musicians are more passive because we would wait for example, production companies. They would come to the record labels, the label companies. So I want to ask, if we want to be more proactive, we want to sell our music, sell our artists. Who should we go to so that you know that we have new works, new pieces of works, and we have great artists, emerging artists that have great work? Is there an expedited way for us to deliver our products to you? So you're from a label company. Okay. Well, maybe we can ask labels to share with us your view. Maybe Morris and Sherry, you can answer this question. So how can artists or labels approach you? Well, actually, we don't really have like a single channel or a certain way for you to approach us. Usually we would work with directors or production teams or even the program department of TV stations. But now, because the audience's viewing experience has changed, so now we approach production companies. For example, Nick is one of, well, I was able to approach Nick by asking his colleague whether or not there will be new projects in the pipeline, and he told me that, oh yeah, we have this new project about the red light district. And so then we started to discuss whether or not the music that we have, the artists that we have, can work with them, whether or not there's some kind of alignment. So as a label, I think we actually would actively approach production companies and also directors. We would also look at their past project and see whether or not it can actually match with our artists or our repertoire. Thank you. Morris? I think what Sherry said is basically what's the case, because we continue to maintain an open channel with directors so that we can receive firsthand about what their next projects are. So I think it's very important for us to be proactive and make friends with these people. Hi, I'm from the Taipei Pop Music Center. The Taipei Pop Music Center will have a new incubator project. So I would like to ask the 6 panelists, are there any sections about the kind of service that we can provide? For example, of course, we can organize exhibitions and master classes. Can you provide some suggestions or advice about what we can do to help you? So Nick, I think it's great that you have an incubator project. In the past 2 years, we really need a lot of creative talents. I have managed projects such as The Way We Were, and I think the number of creative talents such as singer-songwriters are very far and few between. My principle is that at least one of the singers for the title song would be a new artist. But I find it quite difficult to find, someone that is capable. So I think, cultivating these new talents are very critical. I would also like to respond to the earlier question about, how to approach, your potential clients. I think this is a great opportunity. I remember from 2021 to 2022, there were actually more than 100 projects on the market. And I think this actually provides a great opportunity for emerging artists to expose themselves. I would also like to answer this question about where to find artists or where to find projects. For Studio 76, we have about 3 to 4 projects every year. And one of our investors is KK Box. So routinely, we would work with KK Stream and KK Fund. We would pitch to KK Fund, and we would proactively pitch to them. We would tell them the scripts, the playwright that we're developing, the projects that we're developing. So I think you can actually be more proactive. Just put it on a Google Drive and just send the link to, the people who you want them to know about your project. Actually, I found Shixiu on an online platform, and we've worked twice with Zhishow. So actually, you can find the right talent on the market. We do also want to find artists with very interesting features. Okay, 2 more minutes so we can entertain the last question. Are there any last questions? Here is one. Thank you. Hi, I'm a composer from Guangxian Gaming. I write music for media and games. I want to follow up on the question about the style of music or the genre of music. When we look at or watch, for example, Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, these shows actually use thematic music to convey the emotions of the show or the drama. But in Taiwan, it seems that there is a title song and an ending credit, and there are also some interludes. So from a director's point of view, would you prefer, a thematic theme where there's a motive that can actually serve the entire drama, or the kind that we're used to now? Well, Ray, it's your question. I can answer this very directly because the examples that you just gave are great examples. The Game of Thrones or Walking Dead. The style of the drama of the drama is very, very clear, but for a lot of shows, it's not really that thematic. For example, Gatao, the one that I directed, there are a lot of songs in Taiwanese, and they're full of sorrow. It's very melancholy. So for Gatao, yes, you can have a very strong theme to anchor the entire mood of the drama. But for other movies or other songs, or maybe, let me put it this way, in other shows in the West, for example, well, actually in the West, there are also shows where, the theme is not that clear, and it would differ from what you just, from Game of Thrones or Walking Dead. Okay, I would like to thank our 6 panelists. I would also like to thank everybody for making the impossible possible, ending on time. And I know that this is our first session of the GMA Festival this year. Well, thank you very much for your participation.